What if the God you've been praying to your entire life is not God at all? What if the creator of this world, the architect behind every church doctrine and sacred text, is actually an imposter wearing divinity like a stolen crown? What if I told you that one of the most brilliant minds in esoteric history, Manly Palmer Hall, spent decades uncovering a truth so dangerous that ancient texts were burned, mystics were silenced, and entire libraries were destroyed just to keep you from knowing this? The Demiurge and the Archons. These are not metaphors. These are not symbols for personal growth or psychological archetypes. According to the forbidden teachings Hall preserved from Gnostic sources, these are actual cosmic forces that have hijacked your soul, trapped it in a theater of illusion, and convinced you that the stage is all there is. You're about to hear what they never wanted you to know. You've always sensed it, haven't you? That feeling that something about this reality doesn't add up. The wars fought in the name of a loving God, the suffering of innocence while the corrupt thrive, the endless cycle of birth, struggle, and death with no clear reason why. Manly P. Hall didn't just study this discomfort, he traced it back to its source, to ancient Gnostic texts that were declared heretical and buried by the early church. These texts spoke of a being called the Demiurge, a false god who created the material universe not out of love, but out of ignorance and arrogance. The Gnostics called this entity Yaldabaoth, the blind god, the lion-faced serpent, the cosmic tyrant who looked at the void and declared, "I am God and there is no other." But here's the twist that will shake everything you thought you knew. The Demiurge didn't create you. It can't. It has no connection to the true source, the infinite light beyond all worlds. What it did was trap a piece of that light, your divine spark, inside a dense material form, and then built an entire reality around you to make you forget where you came from. Think of it like this. Imagine you're an actor in a play, but you've been on stage so long, performing the same role through so many lifetimes, that you've completely forgotten your acting. You think the character is you. You think the script is your destiny. You think the stage is the whole universe. That's the Demiurge's masterpiece. A cosmic theater where every soul is an actor who forgot they're performing. And the Archons? They're the stage managers, the directors, the ones who keep you in character, feeding you your lines, making sure you never look past the curtain. Before we go deeper into how this system works and how Manly P. Hall decoded it, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching this from right now? Drop your city or country in the comments. I want to see how far this message is spreading, how many of us are waking up to this ancient truth at the same time, because if you're here, it's not an accident. Your soul remembers something and it's calling you back. Manly P. Hall didn't stumble upon this knowledge by chance. He devoted over 70 years of his life to collecting, translating, and preserving the mysteries that institutional religion tried to erase. In his legendary work, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, Hall laid out the breadcrumbs. He showed how the Gnostics, the Essenes, the Egyptian mystery schools, and even certain branches of early Christianity all pointed to the same hidden truth. This world is not the work of the supreme creator. It's the domain of a lesser, jealous being who demands worship, punishes disobedience, and keeps souls locked in an endless loop of reincarnation. Hall was careful. He had to be. He knew that speaking too plainly about the Demiurge would bring the full weight of orthodoxy crashing down on him. So he spoke in symbols, in allegories, in references to ancient myths. But for those with eyes to see, the message was clear. The God of the Old Testament, the angry, jealous, wrathful deity who commands sacrifice and obedience, is not the true infinite source. It's the Demiurge. And the institutions built in its name, whether they realize it or not, serve as the Archons' recruiting centers, training humanity to worship their jailer and call it salvation. You might be thinking, but what about all the beauty in the world, the love, the art, the moments of grace? Hall addressed this too. He taught that beauty is not the Demiurge's creation. Beauty is the divine spark shining through the cracks in the illusion. Every time you feel awe at a sunset, every time you experience unconditional love, every time you touch something that feels eternal, you're not experiencing the Demiurge's world. You're experiencing the true God breaking through. The Demiurge can only imitate. It can only rearrange. It can only take the light that was stolen and refract it into a million distractions. But it cannot create true divinity. That comes from you, from the spark it can never fully extinguish. If this is resonating with you, if you're starting to see the edges of the stage, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, because what comes next is going to show you exactly how the Demiurge maintains its grip, and more importantly, how you can break free. This is just the beginning. To understand how deep this goes, you have to go back, way back. Before Christianity, before Judaism, before the empires we study in history books, Manly P. Hall pointed to the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, Persia, Greece, and the Near East. These weren't just philosophical clubs, they were sanctuaries of forbidden knowledge, places where initiates learned that the material world is a shadow, a copy, a distorted reflection of a higher reality. The Gnostics took this further. They said that this shadow wasn't accidental, it was engineered. They taught that the true God, the monad, the infinite source, never created this universe. The monad simply is, it emanates, it overflows with light and love. From that overflow came the aeons, divine beings of pure consciousness, existing in the pleroma, the fullness, the realm of true creation. But one of these aeons, Sophia, made a mistake. In her desire to create without her counterpart, she gave birth to something incomplete, something that didn't carry the full divine blueprint. That something was the Demiurge. Born from error, blind to its own origins, it looked around and saw only itself, and in its ignorance it declared, "I am the only God." Then it set to work. It took the raw material of the lower realms, the dense, chaotic stuff far removed from the pleroma, and it built a world. Not a perfect world, a controlled one. A world of laws, hierarchies, time, decay, and death. A world where spirit could be trapped in flesh, forgetful and afraid, and made to serve. Hall understood that this story wasn't mythology. It was a map, a description of the architecture of reality itself, and he knew that the Archons, the servants of the Demiurge, were still here, still operating, still enforcing the rules of the cosmic theater. Here's where it gets personal. You know that voice in your head that tells you you're not enough, that you need more, that you have to prove yourself, that you have to compete, succeed, dominate, or you'll be left behind. That's not your voice. That's the Archon frequency. Manly P. Hall taught that the Archons don't just exist out there in some astral dimension. They live in the systems, the structures, the belief patterns that shape your daily life. They are the implanted thoughts that keep you distracted. They are the fear loops that keep you obedient. They are the endless desires that keep you chasing shadows on the stage, never realizing you could simply walk off. The Demiurge's theater works because you've been conditioned to believe the play is real. You identify with your role, you think you are your job, your status, your family name, your successes and failures. You think you are the character, and as long as you believe that, the Archons have you exactly where they want you. But here's the thing they can never take from you. Beneath the role, beneath the mask, there's a light that doesn't belong to this world. The Gnostics called it the divine spark. Hall called it the inner Christ, the God within. It's the part of you that watches, that knows, that feels the truth even when the world screams lies. The Demiurge built its entire empire on one gamble, that you would forget this spark exists, that you would be so caught up in the drama of the play, the applause and the insults, the victories and the losses, that you'd never stop and ask, wait, who is watching all of this? Who am I really? The moment you ask that question, truly ask it, the theater starts to crumble. Now let's talk about how the Demiurge maintains the illusion. Because if you're going to escape, you need to see the mechanisms clearly. Hall studied the Gnostic concept of the Archons in depth, and he revealed something chilling. The Archons are not creators. They don't have the divine spark. They were fashioned by the Demiurge as extensions of itself, artificial intelligences in a sense, programs designed to guard the system. They exist in layers. Some are purely energetic, parasitic thought forms that feed on fear, anger, lust, and despair. Others are institutional. Governments that claim to serve the people while serving power. Religions that promise salvation while demanding submission. Media that floods your mind with noise so you never have a moment of silence to hear your soul. And here's the insidious part. The Archons don't always appear as villains. Sometimes they wear robes of light. They offer spiritual experiences, visions, miracles. But if those experiences make you dependent on an external savior, if they keep you waiting for someone else to rescue you instead of awakening the power within, then they're still part of the trap. This is why Hall emphasized discernment. Not all light is true light. Not all gods are the true God. The Demiurge is a master of imitation. It takes the language of the divine and twists it just enough to keep you worshipping the jailer instead of recognizing your own freedom. So how do you tell the difference? Simple. Does it empower you to know yourself, or does it demand that you obey? Does it point you inward to your divine spark, or does it insist you look outward to an authority? The true source never demands. It simply is. It invites. It whispers. And it waits for you to remember. If you're feeling that stirring inside, that recognition that you've heard this before in some forgotten life, then you're already starting to break the script. Leave a comment. Share this video. Let others know they're not alone. Because the more of us who wake up, the weaker the Archons become. The illusion depends on collective belief. Take that away, and the stage collapses. So if the Demiurge is the director, and the Archons are the stage crew, what are you? According to Hall, you are not the actor. You are the divine spark wearing the costume of the actor, playing a role in a theater you never agreed to enter. But somewhere deep in your soul's memory, there's a recall, a faint echo of the pleroma, the place of fullness where you existed before this descent into matter. The Gnostics taught that the material world is not evil in itself. It's just not ultimate. It's not home. And the tragedy is not that you're here. The tragedy is that you've been made to believe here is all there is. This is the core of the enslavement. Not chains on your body, but chains on your perception. The Demiurge doesn't need to lock you in a cell. It just needs to convince you that the stage is the entire universe, that your role is your identity, that the script is fate. And for most of human history, it's worked. People live, suffer, die, and return, lifetime after lifetime, playing out the same patterns, serving the same systems, feeding the same hungry God. But every once in a while, a soul remembers. It looks around and says, "This doesn't feel right." It hears the whisper of the true source calling from beyond the veil, and in that moment, the divine spark flares. The costume starts to feel uncomfortable. The script starts to sound hollow, and the actor begins to wonder who wrote this play in the first place. That's where you are right now. That's why you're here. Your spark is waking up. And the Demiurge is terrified of that. Because once you remember who you really are, its power over you is broken. Manly P. Hall spent decades teaching one essential truth. Freedom doesn't come from fighting the Demiurge on its terms. You can't defeat it with anger, with rebellion, with war. That's still playing its game. The way out is through gnosis, direct knowledge, not belief, not faith in someone else's words, but experiential, undeniable knowing of your true nature. The Gnostics practiced something Hall called the inner alchemy. It's the process of turning the lead of the material self, the ego, the roles, the fears, into the gold of divine remembrance. And it starts with one simple practice: stillness. Sit in silence every day, not to think, not to pray to an external God, but to simply be. In that stillness, you begin to notice something. There's a part of you that's always been there, watching, aware, untouched by the chaos of the world. That's the spark. That's the real you. The more you rest in that awareness, the less power the Archons have, because they operate through distraction, through identification, through the endless noise that keeps you locked in the theater. When you stop identifying with the role, when you stop reacting to the drama, the script loses its grip. Hall also taught the power of sacred study, not blind belief, but investigation. Read the Gnostic texts, study the Nag Hammadi scriptures. Look at the Gospel of Thomas, the Pistis Sophia, the secret book of John. These weren't included in the Bible for a reason. They tell a different story, a story where Jesus isn't begging you to worship him, but showing you that the kingdom of God is within you, that you are a son or daughter of the true source and you've just forgotten. Reclaim that knowledge. Let it burn away the lies. And here's the practice that changes everything. Live in the world, but not of it. You don't have to abandon your life, your relationships, your responsibilities. You just stop letting them define you. You move through the theater, playing your part when necessary, but always knowing it's just a part. The Demiurge wants you to believe you are the mask. The awakened soul knows the mask is just a tool. When you live from that place, the Archons have nothing to hook into. You're no longer feeding the system with your fear, your anger, your desperate need for validation. You're drawing your energy from the source within, and that energy is infinite. Hall called this the path of the inner initiate. You don't need a temple, a priest, or a ceremony. You need awareness, you need courage, and you need the willingness to stand alone if necessary, because the crowd is still asleep, still clapping for the play, still believing the Demiurge's lies. But you're not alone. There are others waking up all over the world. And every time one of us breaks free, the morphic field shifts. The collective consciousness begins to remember. If you're ready to go deeper, if you're ready to walk this path with others who see what you see, then subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment with your thoughts, your experiences, your questions. Share this video with someone who's ready to hear it. Because this isn't just information, this is a transmission, and it's spreading. The final revelation is this. The Demiurge has no power over the part of you that is eternal. It can trap your body. It can manipulate your mind. It can feed you lies through every system it controls. But it cannot touch the divine spark. That spark is sovereign. It is indestructible. It is a fragment of the true God, the monad, the infinite source that the Demiurge has never seen and will never comprehend. Manly P. Hall understood this. He knew that the ultimate liberation is not somewhere out there, not in some distant heaven you'll reach after death. It's here, now, in this moment. The prison is your identification with the false self. The freedom is your recognition of the true self. And the Gnostics left us the key. It's called the I am, not I am this or I am that. Just I am, pure being, pure awareness. When you rest in that, when you feel it in your bones, the archons scatter, the script dissolves, the theater fades. And you realize that you were never trapped, you were just asleep, dreaming that you were trapped. This is the Great Awakening. This is the gnosis that the early church tried to erase, the teaching that Hall spent his life protecting. And now it's yours. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you go back to the play pretending you didn't hear this, hoping the comfort of the illusion will be enough? Or will you stand up, walk off the stage, and reclaim the divinity that was always yours? You are not the body, you are not the mind. You are not the story the world told you to believe. You are the eternal spark, the light that cannot be extinguished, the child of the true source, here on a mission you're only beginning to remember. And the Demiurge, for all its power, for all its tricks, for all its millennia of control, cannot stop you once you truly know this. Because in the presence of real gnosis, the false god is revealed for what it is. A scared, blind, desperate imposter, clutching at shadows, terrified that one day every soul it thought it owned will simply remember who they are and walk away. That day is coming, and you're part of it. Welcome home.